Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Nice to meet you. My name is Steve Moon. I'm in charge of construction part, Busan Port Authority, as a Deputy General Manager. I have been working on construction field for 23 years. Today, I'd like to explain Busan Port development. In this presentation, I'd like to talk about the current state of Busan Port, the current status of pier and destroy park, other basic port facilities of Busan Port, and the construction flow of container terminals. First, let me explain the current status of Busan Port. Busan Port is the second busiest TS port in the world. The table on the left shows the world top 5 TS ports. Following Singapore, Busan Port is the second busiest TS port globally, handling 12 million TEUs. The table on the right shows changes in the ranking of TS port over the past 3 years. The ranking shows a little change over the past 3 years for the top 5 ports. Busan Port is the 7th busiest container port in the world. It handled about 22 million TEUs of containers in 2020, following Shanghai, Singapore, Ningbo, Shenzhen, Guangzhou, and Qingdao. Busan Port is the largest and busiest port in Korea. Of the total 29 million TEUs of containers handled in Korea annually, 22 million TEUs, over 75%, are handled at Busan Port. Incheon Port and Gwangyang Port follows Busan Port. Busan Port has 2 ports, Old Port and New Port. The Old Port is at the center of Busan City because the Old Port is aged and unable to handle containers increasingly rapidly in volume. A new port was developed. The new port is 25 kilometers away from the old port. The graph shows the trend of container volumes in the old port and new port. In 2005, all the containers were handled in old port. However, as the new port opened in 2006, the volume handled by the new port increased rapidly. In 2012, 6 years after the opening of the new port, the volume handled by the new port surpassed that of the old port. Now, the new port handles 70% of containers, and the old port handles 30%. Now, the Busan Port handled about 22 million TEUs in 2020. It is the busiest and largest port in Korea. The 7th busiest container port in the world, and the 2nd busiest TS container port in the world. Next, I'd like to talk about the current status of pier and destroy park. This is a satellite picture of the old port. The orange line is the redevelopment project area. The one marked in the yellow line is the current container pier, and there are J, G, S container terminal. A total number of 17 container ships can be docked at the same time in the old port. I will briefly explain each pier. J container terminal. The key length of the terminal is 1,400 meters. The water depth is 11 to 15 meters. The berthing capacity is for 50,000 ton class container vessels and one 10,000 ton class container vessel. G container terminal. The key length of the terminal is 2,200 meters. The berthing capacity is 6 50,000 ton class container vessels and one 5,000 ton class container vessel. S container terminal. The key length of the terminal is 1,500 meters. The berthing capacity is 5 50,000-ton class container vessels. This is a satellite picture of the new port. The yellow line is pier currently in operation. There are pier number 1, 2, 5, and multipurpose pier. The orange line is under construction. The dotted line is a future planned area to be built by 2040. I will briefly explain each pier. Pier 1 opened in 2006, and the construction period was 2000 to 2006. The berthing capacity is 3 50,000-ton class container vessels. Construction of the quay foundation and reclamation was underway in 2003, and embankment soil was underway in 2004. In 2005, asphalt pavement work was completed in some areas. In 2006, you can see quay crane, transfer crane, and also containers in the storage yard. Pier 2 opened in 2009, and the construction period was from 2004 to 2009. The berthing capacity is 6 50,000-ton class container vessels. Pier 3 opened in 2009, and the construction period was 2004 to 2009. The water depth is 18 meters. The site was built blasting the rocky area of the mountain, and construction of the quay foundation was also underway in 2005. You can see a lot of work was done for the reclamation of the behind the quay wall in 2006. In 2007, the quay wall was completed, and 90% of mountain was removed. The picture on the right is taken in 2009 when it opened. Pier 4. The construction period was from 2004 to 2009. Water depth is 17 meters. Pier 5 opened in 2011, and construction period was from 2007 to 2011. The water depth is 17 meters. Pier 5 is only vertical yard system. The world's renowned terminal, such as Rotterdam ECT of Netherlands, Hamburg CTA of Germany, Norfolk APM of USA, also introduced the vertical yard system. At the transfer area, straddle carriers transfer containers continuously between quay crane and automated rail-mounted gantry cranes that service the yard. At the automated stacking area, a fully automated rail-mounted gantry crane yard has 0 trucks or people. It operates 24/7. Now, I will move on to Destroy Park. The area marked with red line is North Destroy Park, which is completely constructed. All the area in the Destroy Park were leased to about 30 multinational logistics companies. They mainly use the space for storing, assembling, packing, and labeling goods. The area marked with the blue line is Ungdong Destroy Park. Some part is still under construction, and some in operation. About 40 logistics companies are operating there. The area marked with the yellow and orange line is currently under construction. The red line is in operation, and the yellow line is currently under construction. The total area of the 4th Destroy Park is about 8.5 million square meters. The area where the construction is completed is about 4 million square meters, which is 50%. Well, this is end of part 1. Let's start part 2. Next, I'd like to explain basic port facility other than the pier and Destroy Park. I will talk about breakwater, laws, rail laws, and floating piers. Let me explain breakwater first. You can see it on the screen, but first of all, dredging and foundation work are needed for breakwater construction, and then reclamation by dropping riprap, armor stone work, formwork, and placing concrete, and making tetrapod, moving tetrapod, installation of tetrapod, etc. are necessary to make a breakwater. Next, the road and railroad. Various and many works are required to build road and railroads. Bridge construction work, tunnel work, sometimes work required to remove mountains, such as drilling, blasting, taking out soil and rocks is required, and laying work is also required. After completing this work, beautiful roads, bridges, rails, tunnels were completed. These facilities not only reduce logistics costs, but also facilitate flow of logistics. Floating piers. Floating piers are constructed as follows. First, manufacturing and connecting segments. Second, the painting work. Third, launching pontoon into the sea. Fourth, placing concrete. Fifth, anchoring work with mooring chain. Sixth, canopy work. Seventh, connecting the access bridge to the pontoon. Eighth, you can see completed floating pier. Lastly, in this chapter, I would like to explain how container terminal is made. It's divided into 10 steps. First, construction dumping area for dredged soil. Second, the dredging disposal of dredged soil at the dumping area. Third, quay-wall construction. Fourth, reclaiming works. Fifth, surface reinforcement. Sixth, soft ground improvement. Seventh, surcharge preloading. Eighth, pipeline construction, accessory work of quay wall. Ninth, construction of buildings. 10th, pavement works. And I will briefly explain each step. First, construction dumping area for dredged soil is a facility designed to facilitate the disposal of the seabed soil produced in the course of dredging during developing port facilities such as berths and seaway and foundation of various port structure. When dredged soil dumping is completed, the dumping area can be used as container terminal site. Of course, this dumping area requires soft ground improvement to be used as a container terminal yard. However, thanks to the dumping area, reclamation costs can be reduced, enabling economical construction. On the screen, you can see the dropping riprap, making dike, placing armor stone, and laying tetrapod in order. Second, dredging disposal of dredged soil at the dumping area. Once the construction of the dumping area is completed, it would be possible to dump the dredged soil at the dumping area. The picture on the left shows the discharge pipe on land and in the sea. The pictures on the right show dumping of dredged soil. Third, quay wall construction. All the terminal quay wall at Busan Newport were built in a caisson style. So, I'd like to explain in terms of caisson type quay wall. As you can see on the screen, quay wall foundation work, manufacturing work, launching, installing caisson are required for construction of the quay wall. I'd like to show you a short video to help you understand the caisson installation. It will take 1 minute. Load floating dock with caisson. And move to designated area. And launch caisson. And move caisson by tugboat. And work with temporary placed caisson. And finally, install caisson. Reclaiming works. As you can see on the screen, reclamation at the layer of quay wall proceeds after the caisson installation is completed. Surface reinforcement. When the reclamation work is completed, the soft ground needs to be improved to create a solid ground. In order to improve the soft ground, heavy construction equipment is required to enter there. That is why we need surface reinforcement such as bamboo net and geotextile, as you can see on the screen. Soft ground improvement. This method is to dehydrate water into the ground by inserting draining material into the soft ground. You can see on the screen the white drain material being inserted vertically by pores in order to dehydrating water in soft ground. Surcharge preloading. In order to accelerate dehydrating water in ground, surcharge preloading work is carried out after inserting draining material into the soft ground. After leaving embankment soil for 6 months to 1 year, the soil is removed. Pipeline construction. Auxiliary work of quay wall. Various pipelines such as sewage, water, electric, communication, and gas pipe are laid on the ground. And the accessory facilities of a quay wall such as mooring post, fenders, car stoppers are separately constructed, as you can see pictures on the right. Construction of buildings. Buildings for various purposes are constructed. Pavement works. Asphalt concrete pavement or cement concrete pavement are decided considering on-site condition, economic feasibility, maintenance. In case of the stacking area, crushed stone pavement may be constructed as necessary. And so, we have completed the beautiful container terminals. That's all for my presentation about Busan port development. Thank you.